Hey guys, Kyle here today with another YouTube video, and today I got you a special video. I guess it's just like lessons, concepts, or like just like advice for you guys to follow. I have things I've learned over the years for you guys to use in your climb. And it's a new season. Even though personally I think the game hasn't changed too much, but like of course you can always still learn as a newer player, and I'll go over I don't know over 10 plus different things, like lessons you should always think about while playing League. And we're gonna look over like a random Graves game. I'm just gonna yap a little bit. So basically, the first thing I want to talk about is your champ select. When you're in champ select and you see your champions being locked in, whether you're first pick, you're getting counter pick, etc. Like when you're picking your champion, or whatever champion you want to play. So let's for Graves. What champions do you want to play against? What champions do you want to play with? Usually for me, when I'm playing Graves or like Kindred, which are very similar in what they want from the team, is they need some kind of setup. They need a good jungle matchup, and lanes are somewhat gankable. In this kind of game, it's kind of hard. Looking at their champs. I don't remember when I picked Graves, but I do remember I saw Zaya, Zac, and Echo, which makes my champ pretty good. I would say very hard to kill, especially if I go Merc Treads. Also, let me just like keep my items up. So, when you're in champ select, when you're queuing up for a game, the first thing you should think about. Now, when you load into the game, when you're like, or when you see most of your champions in champ select, you want to think about these things, like as a jungler, especially. You want to think about which lane do you want to play to? What do you want to like do in the game? Like this kind of game, I want to probably full clear a lot. Here I looked for invade early game because I thought I can choose the Echo, but it looks like he did some weird path, so I wasn't able to punish him. But yeah, I wasn't really sure if I should keep playing for the Gromp invade because you can easily just come back with smite advantage because I smited my red, and then I might just be down 2 camps and just down a shit ton of tempo. In this season especially, you can get very punished for that. So, talking about that, your level 1 game plan is you need to think about, can you get randomly invaded? Can you invade? Do you need kind of defensive rewards, aggressive rewards? For information early game, I thought I can invade, but end up couldn't. So then after that, there's also 3 camp invading, or do you full clear? So you see here, I didn't have full clear, but I saw my ball is playing very volatile, so I ended up doing I'm level 2, a quick level 2 gank. But that's because of the really, really weird early game that I had, I had to kind of adjust. And it's not like I'm super behind because I did end up getting a kill. But, I would have probably been down a camp this game in terms of like XP, but I'm still like clearing my camps, And like when you're playing the game, you always need to think about like when you're thinking about 3 camping, when you do your 3 camp, you're gonna be down. Your camps are not gonna be leveled up, right? So when you finish your 3 camp invade, think about leveling up your camps instantly. And if you're planning to full clear, yeah, just full clear. And then while you're clearing, think about what you want to do. Do you want to play for crab? Is enemy jungle delayed? Can you play for an invade? These small like things can help you just formulate kind of game plan to follow. And I'm telling you, most people right now, they don't have a game plan when they play. They don't think about like what they can do. Now, of course, it's not that easy to just do. Like I make it sound easy, but for the most simple thing as a jungler that you can do is make sure you are always eating camps, always getting gold. So you see here, like Echo made it play topside reds, and then on my minimap it showed his raptors are respawning. I also know he did raptors after his blue buff because of the whole level 1, level 2 invade I was trying to do. So here, I yoink a raptor camp real quick, and now my game is very good, right? I get a leveled up camp, which is very nice. And now I'm thinking about here, like, okay, I have a lot of gold, I have some camps up, some camps are spawning. I'm just gonna clear my camps here. I'm gonna do 1 quad in this topside quadrant here, and then I'm gonna look to recall. And I'm gonna ping where Echo can be. Because their Echo, we just saw him. He just saw his raptors got yoinked. and now he can be bot side. After his bot play, or after his bot camps, which I know he will be on his Krugs, can he play to dive my ball in? Can he do dragging at 5 minutes? Because, like, what else can a jungler do when they don't have camps? Especially when you know which side they're on, right? But here, you know, when we see the Echo, you see how it was pinging, oh, can he do dragon? You know, we probably see him now, he's just going top side. Now we have to make sure that top just doesn't randomly ends, you know? Now, you know, kind of building on that, right? Every turn, you gotta think about what you want to do, right? So, I already kind of thought about what I wanted to do while I was clearing. You know, while you're clearing, especially when you're doing exit clears, you know, you're doing like 2 camps and you're looking to recall anyways. Think about what you want to do next, right? Like for me right now, come out of base, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna clear these 2 respawn camps, and I'll probably think about doing dragon because like one, my top side camps aren't gonna be up for a while. I do have red buff spawning, but I have potentially bot winning. Looks like they died, and I have mid lane is in a decent state, so I want to play maybe for a potential dragon because I know Echo is going to be in the top side of the map. You see that my balling died, you know, it is what it is. And I end up, I just start pushing this top wave here, or this bot wave, because my AD can't get it. And I guess in lower elo, like, you don't know whether or not you can push a wave or not. If it's not a cannon wave, you can one-shot it. Usually, you can take the wave. You can play to one-shot it. Here, I'm thinking about, can I play for dragon after the crab? I'm also pinging my Sona that he must defend the red buff, right? Like I'm thinking about like every single factor while playing. So now I start playing dragon because it looks like my red has been defended. Echo is not taking it. If Echo does end up showing on the red buff, you know, I'll just play for his bot side because again, his bot side will be spawning very soon. Because again, we know all these things from the earlier parts of the game. We pretty much have tracked him throughout the whole early game, so he can play for more camps. So you see me here, I'm just going to my top side. I'm just gonna go secure my camps because I don't know where Echo is. Maybe they might fanboy me, they might like kill me in the bot side because, you know, their bot lanes aren't, their support is not showing. I don't want to like randomly die, right? So now I'm just clearing my camps again. You know, I'm always clearing my camps. And that's like the easiest kind of game plan you could have as a jungler, but you want to make sure you want to do something off it, whether it's an objective, you play to invade, you play to gank, you know. Another skill I would say is very important, and if you guys watch me play, if you guys haven't, you know, you can check it out. Check out like some of my content, my POV, you know, my point of view, is that I FK a lot. Well, the thing is, they're not actually on the FKs, they're on ZXCV, and the reason is because it's a lot easier to hit for me personally. And also I have a 60% keyboard at the moment, a wounding 60%, so I don't have FQs, but I still wouldn't use FQs in general. So I think they're just, it depends on your hands and like maybe even like preference. And I just always liked it more closer to me. I feel like FQs are a bit further away. I don't really like it too much, but the point is that gathering information is very important as a jungler, because if you don't know what's going on the map, then how do you decide whether or not you should make a play somewhere? Like, you need information to do things while you're playing jungle. Otherwise, you're lost. And it's not good. That's how you're supposed to play the game if you don't have a clear goal. You know, if you don't have information. Like here, I knew from looking around the map, you know, you can also click on your minimap too, right? So you don't need the F key. You can click on your minimap too, which is slower. But of course, you know, you have to develop the skill over time. And like early on, so let me go back a bit, you know. We see here that I'm level 6, right? And Zach is level 6, my Sona's level 5. And they are exiting into towards the top side of the river. Like, I'm just not gonna take a fight like that. It's not worth it. Like, I'm gonna flip the game over grubs, you know. I already got a dragon. Even if I didn't get dragon, like, my conditions aren't good for me to take a fight into their champions, you know. Like, Lissandra could flash ult me, Zach can go on me. You know, these things are very, you know, you're not God. Like, you can't just go in 1v5. You know, let's put red vision for now, right? Make it like, it's like we're watching from my own like eyes, I guess. So, you know, seeking out information is very important, you know, scouting the map, because then you can decide what you want to do. Now, a very important lesson I listened to the others is when your lanes are losing, even though in this game, I mean, they're like slightly losing. I mean, they're not really losing. But in those games where you have 3 losing lanes, right? Every jungler goes through it. You know, even I do too. I see my comments like, "Oh, you don't experience with bad lanes. Like, you say you can carry every game, but like, no, you definitely can. I've experienced that. I've experienced 3 losing lanes. I've carried 4v5s before. I show you not. And the thing to do, think about when you are playing those really painful games, is you want to keep clearing, you want to keep watching the map, and then you can make a decision. Where is the best play for me to make? Where can I get a kill? Where can I manifest a play? Like, what CC do I have? Like, hey, let's say in this game, all my lanes are losing, right? Where can I make a play? It's kind of hard, right? Like, I don't have any like hard CC. So I would say like cleaning up a kill is probably the most ideal, because like if my lane's playing very volatile, like early on, like the kills I have is I cleaned up a kill, right? That's where I would like potentially get a comeback gold, you know? Here, you know, I catch a wave because I couldn't reach my top laner in time, is what it is. I go back to clearing. Like Echo's 2-0, jungle gap maybe. I'm up 20 CS, I have a kill, but I'm still farming. The goal of my champion, my identity of my champion is to farm a lot and have a lot of gold and XP. Some champions is to gank a lot, you know, like when you're playing Nunu jungle, Jarvan jungle. Well, Jarvan you can play to farm too, but you know, some champions want to gank more because they get outscaled, right? But my champion skills very well, you know. I also went Triforce this game because it's very good into the enemy champions, right? Like, allows me to kite them, makes me tankier so I don't get one shots. Then eventually I can buy Merc Trez to where I'm actually very hard to kill, right? So, don't lose your minds. I mean, it's justified if you lose your mind when you have 3 losing lanes, but it is what it is. Like, you just keep queuing. The way they design League is that you just have to keep queuing, and then if you deserve the LP, you deserve to climb, you will climb. Like, I think that I remember someone was talking about like a random like thing where it's like, if out of 3 games, let's say on average, 1 game is probably a free win, 1 game is probably a mandated loss, even though you shouldn't think like that. And the 3rd game is the game where if you have to try your hardest to carry the game, that is how kind of League is. I mean, you kind of just have to spam the game. And you see here, it's like insane play. We kind of went crazy. We actually lived for a while. If you guys didn't see the way I played it, honestly, it was pretty good, I would say. So, you know, let's go back, watch my POV. So we see here, my Zed is baiting and play. I'm here to clean up, right? Remember I was talking about, okay, maybe the way I play this game is I play to clean up, right? I'm just hitting. I'm playing to dodge like their abilities. Did get hit by Echo ult there. Sucks. I'm trying to see if I can kill the Zac past him. We go with my ult, and I flash the Zav damage. And here, you know, I'm playing with my bloodline and my fleets because I took very hard scaling runes, and I played around the vision of the wall so he can't hit me. So, you know, pretty good play. I will do like a more POV kind of review of this game, you know, later on. But I just want to use this game and just stay up a bit, just talk about lessons, what you guys should follow while playing League. So now we're kind of getting to like the mid game, right? It's 12 minutes. Mid game kind of starts around like, I'll say on average 12 to 15 minutes. It's probably in the mid game. Like right now, it's pretty much the mid game. So when you're in the mid game as a jungler, especially like the late game, you can apply this. It's like, what do you want to? How do you want to like pile your champion? You know, like what do you like? People always wonder like, how do you play the mid and late game basically, or even end the game? But we can talk about the end the game later on. The thing you must understand is that don't tunnel on like your mid and late game always, because people always talk like, oh, but I couldn't play the mid or late game and shit. Like, well, a good amount of time the people complain like that usually like have probably into their early game and don't know how to, like, they like troll their early game a lot. So think about like your early game too when you like review games and like look at your games, because a lot of the time you're probably trolling a lot and you just don't farm well. You might just imp your tempo in your plays and like troll your teammates with bad dragon calls and stuff. Like that kind of stuff like will hurt you in the long run if you just don't fix those bad habits, because jungle role has the most control in the early game, by far the most control. Later on, your laners kind of have a bit more control. You know, I would say in terms of like control of the game. You know, everyone has power, but in the early game, you know, jungle has the most power by far in a lot of games. But people just troll their jungle game. So yeah, focus on having a strong early game, whether it's having good farm, not dying, you know, good objective control, good volatility. If you're a champ like Shaco and Rek'Sai, you want to have good volatility. For a champ like Graves and Kindred, you can have volatility, but you also want to make sure you're farming and scaling. You know, these are things you want to think about while playing your champion. Now for actually playing the mid game, because we're in the mid game right now, and this is the same thing you should apply in the late game, is you want to play by quadrants. The only champions that are really allowed to full clear are ones that literally like are able to run by camps. Basically, like Hecarim and Karthus, they kill camps very fast. A lot of junglers do kill camps pretty fast, but usually like champs like Hecarim and Karthus, they're always on a map, they're always farming, like they're very fast. Like they usually prioritize farming more than fighting. Like while champs like Kindred and Graves, usually like when you get into the mid game, you get 1 or 2 items, you want to fight more. So you want to play by quadrants. So you see how like I cleared the quadrants and I went through around mid to see if there's anything. Maybe I can hit a tower, maybe I can go top. If there's nothing, I play to farm more camps. See, I farm another camp here, and I'm looking probably topside. I'm like, okay, maybe I can make a play topside. I don't know. Like, you want to play by quadrants a lot. The times you want to full clear, especially, like, usually, for any jungler, is if no one's doing anything on the map. But usually it's only like that if everyone's in base and you're just on the map already pretty early, you know, early morning on the map, and you're just, like, clearing, right? But, yeah, you want to think about playing by quadrants. That's ideally how you want to play your mid game, and especially your late game too. If you're full clearing the late game and you're at your Krug camp and everyone's been fighting, like you're just in Narnia and you can't like impact the game. Like you're just like trolling your team. And this is like how like you might just throw your games. And like you might not realize at the time and be like, oh, my team's inting, I'm on my camps. Well, buddy, you shouldn't be on your camps. That late into the game in Narnia. You should play by quadrants. Even sometimes like your tempo might be bad sometimes where like let's say you died and you respawn late, so you're not allowed to full clear your camps and ruin your teammates like timer. Like, your teammates could be full condition on the map, ready to pressure, and you're just farming because like you died. Well, sometimes you might only be able to farm 1 or 2 camps and you have to start grouping. That is just jungle rule. You can't just like grief your teammates like that. So for me, I know like most YouTubers, like people who try to teach you guys the game, especially in the last in the recent years, I feel like there weren't like that many good educational junglers on YouTube, but recently there has been like Perry and like Kire and stuff. Like playing by quadrant by quadrant is how you should kind of view the game. You shouldn't think about like, oh, I must eat all my camps. No. Then every camp you're on, always try to pay attention to the map. See where should I be going to next. Sometimes you might like all your camps are up, but because there's a lot of stuff bot side, you want to be closer to that lane and be ready for any volatility, right? Like here, I'm clearing a quadrant right now, right? And what am I going to do after this? I think, knowing me, I'm going to probably click mid. Okay, well, looks like I'm summoning Herald for some reason. And I'm just fighting here. Because I don't have camps topside, I want to do something. I have Heralds, and I have 2 items on Graves, so I'm pretty strong. And here we're playing with their team, you know, Zed's on the map, someone's on the map. Karthus just randomly grabbed the Heralds for whatever reason. And I'm pushing the wave here, because, you know, we might play for a fight here. See, Echo goes in. Now we're just playing for a fight. You know, it's gonna be, let's just look over this fight real quick. We have Storm Sky. Pretty hard to kill. I actually love this build. Kill this guy. Now, after this play, after we won this play, what do I want to do? Well, I gotta do objective, you know? Like, we did all this to earn the objective. So I guess that's why I was grouping, especially. Like, even though my top camps are spawning, like, Dragon is spawning too, right? So, yeah, I think you can't just be clearing all your camps and then, like, not playing for control around the Dragon. Now we're doing the Drake. Honestly, I gotta turn on the timers, huh? Like, oh, what is this? Objective timers. We're basing right now. Now we're basing here because our camps are on top side and we are sitting on a decent amount of gold. So I just buy my boots, I buy some components, and I get back on the map. And probably knowing me, looks like my teammates are kind of on the map. You know, two people are coming out of base. We have Zed already top lane. Probably doing 1 to 2 camps here is most ideal. Make sure you get your red buff, especially as this camp usually spikes you pretty hard. So I do this real quick and I'm paying attention to top, and you see here I'm gonna do this real quick and I'm gonna go towards the top side. And I don't do my third camp because look, there's stuff happening. And I've seen, and like I have to point this out too, because on my Patreon, when I've reviewed VODs for people, I've seen people literally, they're fighting in a lane and you can click the minimap, and the easiest way to look at the minimap sometimes too is like, oh, champion ally over enemy champion. Something must be happening, right? So like take a little peek. And I've seen people literally just be farming their camps, like listening to some good music or like just, you know, just chilling when there's war happening over here. So like you gotta always be paying attention to the map. I was like, you could be missing out on a lot of plays. Laners could be inting in their lanes and no flash, but you're not picking up their free kill, right? I think I do end up inting here, but it's the concept that matters the most. Like, because I've seen it firsthand while reviewing Patreon VODs. So I got blown up there actually. Dude, I gotta look at that one time. How did I just die? I mean, I guess I'm just taking full damage and like true damage from Fiora Vitals. That makes sense actually. I'm not like that tanky to be honest. I mean, I have a lot of HP, but I'm not like, in terms of resistances, I'm not like super tanky. But we do end up killing them all. It looks like Kha'zix got a flank. Did some good work there. Yeah. So now how to play like the late game while you're playing jungle. Well, you gotta make sure you're grouping with your team is the easiest thing. Farming doesn't matter too much in the late game when you're playing jungle, because like if you already hit your items, you should just group, no? Play for position. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. So here we're doing our camps, right? You know, we're gonna talk with like one of the lessons earlier. We're doing our camps here. Because, you know, people are off the map, right? Well, this guy's off the map, these guys are doing something here, but like nothing really is gonna happen. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go group. And now I'm not really gonna farm anymore. I'm gonna play for, you know, push, get some kind of control. Maybe we can pull Baron, maybe we can kill this guy in side lane who's inting. And, you know, get Crab for some control, pink this bush, get some vision control. And I think about pulling Baron because, you know, it's a 4v5 right now. These guys are just going for my Crab for some reason. But, we're doing the Baron here instantly because one's dead. And we want to play for a fight, right? I don't know where the enemy team is right now, but these guys are like lost. We're just like straight up doing the Baron. Oh, they're all toppling right now. Now we're just playing for fights. We just group. I mean, late game, you just have to group with your team. Like, don't overcomplicate it. There's no like secret sauce. You just go walk with your team 5v5, ARAM it, and just play. Just play for our fights. Now we're waiting for waves to push their base. And now I guess how to close out the game. We're gonna watch the rest of this game. We're gonna watch how we play to close it out, because we did get first Baron, right? So to close out the game, one way is, you know, playing for soul, playing for Barons to get towers, you know. Tier 2s and tier 1s are standing gold. You should be able to easily kind of break them if you have Baron especially. We see that dragon spawning in 1 minute, so already, you know, when we got the Baron and we see that dragon spawning, it's our soul, our ocean soul. This is how we're going to close out the game. We're going to play for soul, and then we're going to play the siege their base, and just, we can't die because we will have soul, right? And sometimes maybe that's not always the option, but you can just play it to go push a bot tower and siege like their inhib, because a way to kind of break their base open is just taking their inhib towers and slowly get into inhib, slowly get into nexus tower, and then eventually you can, you know, you can actually hit the nexus, because that's how you win the game. So here we're sieging a tower, and now it's just a fight because enemy team's retaliating. Like they need to like They ain't gonna let that slide. Graham's tanking a lot. Honestly, Bloodline and Fleet going crazy here. You guys never tried this grave setup. Try it out. And you know, a fight happened over it. This guy is Zonya's. And now we play for a fight around an objective. An objective is dragons, baron, tower. These are objectives, you know. You play to fight around them. You don't just fight meaninglessly, right? You fight over something. So we just fought over tier 2, you know, leading up to a tier 3. And here I go to dragon because this is soul. I'm going to let my team, like, as a jungler, you know, you can solo dragon pretty fast. So, you know, I'm going to do dragon here because this will win me the game. Now I'm doing dragon real quick. Maybe I should speed it up. And probably while I'm doing this dragon, I'm thinking about, okay, what should I do next? Well, there's a red buff spawning. I can do red buff. You know, I can buy some components. I base real quick. Looks like I probably did some God's work up there. Nobody knows. You know, I'm doing my camps. And you see how, again, in my Patreon, I've seen people literally full clear their camps here. And while their team is fighting and they're trying to win the game. Here, I just do my red because it spikes me. And I go group right away. I'm late on the map because I did dragon res. So I'm a bit down in tempo. But I want to try to make sure I can like still do something with my team while they're alive. If they do it, like don't randomly die, right? So if they randomly die, then you probably should farm your camps or go catch a wave. But I see here, you know, I have my ball lane here. You know, they're here with me. And we're just up for fights. Doing some stuff. And we're just playing with our team. Late game is simple, guys. And how to close out your, like, and how to close the game out. You just group with your team. Now we're just hitting the towers. We're chilling. I'm playing Woodsign Graves for some reason. I mean, I'm just bored. Ooh, look at that crit though. Yeah, somehow I died. That was actually insane. Yeah, I don't think my team ends because I entered. Wow. Well, maybe you shouldn't do that if you want to close out the game. We're walking out the map now again. For the 3rd time. We only have 2 deaths this game. We have a PD. Do not buy PD when you play this build. Just FYI. I'm bored. But again, what are we going to do? We're just going to group with our team. And this is just how League is. I think if you don't overcomplicate League of Legends, it's a pretty simple game in some ways. Of course, it's like hard to kind of recognize that when you're like a new player and you like don't like. There's so many things going on, so many waves, camps, jungle, like champions everywhere. But at the end of the day, you know, you just follow these like simple rules while playing. You won't be too confused. And these are like things I just follow naturally without even thinking about it. So you know, if you guys just think about it and then like apply it. I would have those good like fundamentals, I guess, those good habits. I would say like more like habits. Your games will feel a lot easier to play. And here, you know, we end up winning the game. If you guys enjoyed this kind of content, you know, let me know. I think it's just something I want to talk about, yap a bit on how to like kind of play the game. Like and subscribe. You know, let me know in the comments how you felt about it. See you guys next time.